and action.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone and everything in between, welcome to episode 1 of the Stay Positive podcast. I am your co-host Alex,
Joined by Pete.
Sorry.
I'm gonna troll you. I'm gonna find a way to troll you every time we do the intro.
I was thinking of I actually was thinking of doing like a different intro every time, like welcome to Boring Guys the podcast, or welcome to I had so many good ones. Welcome to Background Noise the podcast. Welcome to I don't know. I came up with so many good ones.
Don't worry, be happy. The podcast.
Don't worry, that's probably copyrighted.
That is for sure. That's the thing that your dad would always say.
Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah, don't. Isn't it a song?
Yeah. Don't worry, be happy. No, it's definitely a song. I just don't remember. I keep thinking of "Don't Worry About a Thing."
Oh yeah, from Shark Tales.
No, well, it might have been Shark, but that's not like it wasn't created for Shark Tales, Pete.
No, obviously, is it a Bob Marley song?
I don't know. Probably.
Wow, I probably seem so uncultured right now.
It's fine.
Apologies.
We know of the song, so it's fine.
It's a great song.
It is a good song.
Chill vibes.
Anyways,
we find ourselves quite in a time period right now.
Yeah, this week has been a week and a half when it comes to stuff.
Oh my gosh, there's so much has gone on, both in the world, in our lives.
What happened in our lives?
You remember the whole time period between Monday and Wednesday?
Oh, right. So everyone listening, we have a YouTube channel. We post our podcast there. We also got approved from Apple, so woo! No, we're on Apple now.
Yeah, I know.
You got it? Did you subscribe? Pete?
I will as soon as we finish episode 1.
Alright, I didn't see if we got into Spotify or not. But whatever.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll find out.
We got the more important one.
Wouldn't this be like some weird version of breaking the fourth wall? Like we're talking about our own podcast on the podcast.
It's a self plugin.
Has what?
It's like a self.
No, this is not fourth wall. I'm not.
No, we're just advertising. We're just saying, hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Buy our merch when we have some. Okay.
Dommerch.com.
Yeah.
Bro Science Life.
Well, yeah. First, we need to come up with our logo, and then we can make a shirt or a pin with our logo on it.
Yeah, but
that'll happen in the distant future.
Yeah. Anywho, oh my gosh, Monday through Wednesday, bro.
Oh yeah. So we learned the struggles of video editing, which is so we're using Blender. We're gonna mention that because most people don't mention the software they use when they're recording. So we'll mention it right here. We're using Blender and we're using Audacity to record. In case you're wondering how to make a podcast as great as ours, and yeah, that sucked.
Oh my gosh, man! I tell you, like, like recording is fun. I always enjoy conversations. But then afterwards, what was it, 5 hours?
5 hours for like 3 or 5 days.
I mean, I know as soon as you finished with the audio, you sent that over to me, and I just go and try to start this video. And mind you guys, if you ever check out our channel in such early stages.
Oh yeah, the video we made, we did not actually... The video you'll see on our channel is not the actual video we made. Yeah. But the video we made was taking probably 17 years, I'd say, to render.
18 years.
18 and a half,
just
maybe.
About. I mean, I quite frankly, if I had the money, I would have bought that iMac, that $50,000, that Mac Pro, what's it called?
I don't know.
To edit, an hour of video, an hour of 4K video
whatever
in
Disney
5 minutes.
And Dreamcast use.
Yeah.
Not Dreamcast, DreamWorks.
Dreamcast. No, dude, but yeah, I mean
took a long time.
The thing is, I really thought it would work out for My laptop, at least. My laptop's not like a bad laptop.
I mean, it would.
It's a gaming laptop. I don't use it to game because I don't game. But I mean, it has specs. It has quite powerful specs.
I mean, realistically, if you gave the laptop 3 days uninterrupted, we would have had the video.
Yeah.
But you have class, and my laptop has like 3 gigs of space left, so can't really use that for rendering.
I assume your laptop's a lot older, also.
When did you get yours?
About 3 years ago.
I got mine either the first year of college or the year before I started college.
So it's quite older than mine.
It is pretty old, yes.
It's actually approaching the end of its shelf life.
What?
It's approaching the end of its shelf life.
Don't tell my laptop that. It's within earshot.
You might have to go for your favorite brand of PC.
Apple. The thing is, like, if I want to post something on the iOS on the iPhone App Store, I need an Apple computer, which sucks. But in all fairness, like, mobile games are not like my dream. They're more just my entry into gaming, into game development. So that's not a big deal. Posting it on the Google Store would be just as... It would be enough for me. I was going to say something, but I forgot what it was. Okay. What were we talking about before?
Say something.
Say something. I'm giving up on you.
No.
Oh, right. Video editing. Oh, right. You mentioned it, and this has been something that I wanted to do for a long time, is to build my own computer.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm going to do that next summer.
I want to do it, like, now. Because... like you said, my laptop's old, and like if I want to get into like game development, rendering is gonna be like a real thing that I have to deal with, especially if I want to go into high poly counts, which
yeah, I know what that means.
Do you?
No.
It's like, so you create 3D objects and like they're, what is the word? Basically, you remember when you made the audio visualizer?
Yes.
Those are like meshes.
Okay.
And like high polys means like how many faces something has. So like if you have more faces, it looks more smooth. So like let's say you have a cube, that's very simple. It's very low poly. But then if you increase the polygon count, eventually you'll have a sphere, which is extremely high poly.
Okay. Makes sense.
So if you want to like get into like really nice art design, you either make it 2D, which is really hard, or you do high poly, which is also really hard but easier.
Food for thought.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's my story on why I want to build my own computer and not
build
have a laptop.
Your own laptop.
No, not
nice
a laptop.
Try, buddy. No, but that whole video editing process took, I think, a composite 30 hours.
Yeah, so
of our lives.
Over a day.
Yeah, and in the end, what we tried to do was make an audio visualizer for the
Google it, you'll know what it looks
0.
like.
Yeah, it's just those cool waves, sound waves that react to stuff. If you ever watch like one of those Trap Nation YouTube videos,
music, yeah.
Electric music, then you'll see like the logo bouncing around and everything. And we tried to do something a little similar until we realized that it would take 20 hours on one end to get this video to load.
And you were worried about your like laptop burning out?
Yeah, because I think my laptop was overclocking, which for the non-tech savvy people, basically it's bad. Don't make it happen unless you have ways to cool your laptop, blowing it with air.
Ice cubes.
Ice cubes, yeah. Just rub your laptop with ice cubes.
You can use that if you want to put your feet up. If you want.
Yeah, so I can screw with the sound again.
Don't kick the table like you did last time, Pete.
Class act. So anyways, we managed to stay positive in the end.
Yeah, we didn't kill ourselves.
No.
We just
we definitely did not do that. I mean, you can hear us right now.
It's true. We didn't hire any doppelgangers or anything. Yeah, and it'll definitely happen in the future. Near or distant, we don't know, but it will happen when we have a high quality video. But in the meantime, you can just enjoy the luscious sound of our voices talking
Yes.
about life and stuff.
Life and
It's what you
stuff.
came here
Stuff and
for.
life.
It's true.
With a positive
With
connotation
a
always.
positive connotation. Stay positive, everyone.
Yes. So
Um,
yeah, despite all that, we're back here. We're live. We're
well,
talking
they,
and
they won't.
living more of what society has to offer us within the
Week.
last I wouldn't even say
3 days.
week because yeah, it was mostly just the last 3 days.
Right. So,
Isn't it crazy?
yeah, a lot can happen.
A lot happens in like a short time.
It's true.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
what do you want to talk about, Pete?
I want to talk about life and stuff in life. No, I'm kidding. I mean,
So we have
it's just there are just so many glaring things like wrong with society,
right.
you know, and we really can't like. It's hard to put your finger on every single little thing without letting something else give, in a way.
Like what? Trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's important to like be aware of it, to not just completely ignore it, to not pretend it doesn't exist, because it does. But the solution to it, it's it's hard to say.
I
And
mean, I don't know. Personally, like when I see injustice like that, like I've never been like a victim of any type of injustice, even though I'm Hispanic, but um it's so painful.
I think the worst part in my mind when I see injustice, and I've only suffered it like very few times in very minor cases, but like the worst part of it for me is just the question why. Like, why did it have to be that way? Why? Because I live my life doing my best to treat everyone nicely and politely, and if they start behaving poorly towards me, I usually try to avoid them because there's no point in starting a conflict, there's no point in escalating a bad situation and making it worse. The best thing is to either resolve it or avoid it. But like in certain situations it feels like there are just people who try to provoke, or not even provoke, just start bad stuff for no reason.
Yeah. I mean, we saw with this case, like I don't know, like from every video that I watched for it, um the video of George Floyd was, I mean, by all accounts, just horrible to watch. I mean, and there was another video I talked to you about where it just showed them walking him over to the other side.
Right, so you said there were two videos. There was one of the officers walking the individual, and then there's a second video of him on the ground getting,
Like, yeah, they were kneeling on his neck.
yeah, just over killing him.
And I'm not one to ever like I'm not one of the people right now like yeah, posting on Instagram and Snapchat and like I'm no social media activist or protester. I I have very close friends that are black, and I mean, like I would give every drop of my blood for them if I had to
Right.
in a situation. I hope they would do the same, but
I mean, yeah, no,
like I hate, I don't want to, hate's a strong word, but it's pretty easy to say like you just hate seeing something
no, I
um
think hate is the
that
appropriate word.
describes hate.
No, I think hate is the appropriate word because, like, it just makes you feel bad. Like, there's no bright side to this. Like, I always try to like see it from every angle to try and imagine, you know, this must have been caused because of something. This can't just be evil people being evil, but sometimes it just is that, and it's just really frustrating that like the people with power, the people who are supposed to be there for you, turn against you.
I know.
What was he accused of? Like, what was
forging a check?
What does that? It means faking a signature.
Yes.
They sat on the guy's neck. They elbowed his neck for forging a signature.
Yes.
Why?
Dude, and it's crazy. I think
how many officers were there? I didn't see the video. So there were four officers.
4 people were restraining him.
A guy with his hands behind his back, and his crime was...
There were 3 actively on top of him. Another one was just
on his neck?
No. One of them was. Another one was kind of actively just talking to the people videotaping this whole scene.
Oh, well,
he was basically turning but he was basically turning a blind eye because they were telling him, "Yo, this guy can't breathe." Like they were literally telling this officer, and he was like just ignoring them. Just
why on the neck of all places? Like, was he belly down or was his
yeah.
If his belly is down,
face on the ground.
If his face is on the ground, you don't need to sit on his neck. You just put your body weight on his back, and that's the end of that. He won't get up.
Or don't even do that. Like if he's on his stomach, like
he can't even get up.
What are the odds that this guy can get up? Like, it's so excessive. It's so unnecessary, and it just completely shows. It just sheds light on like what's wrong. And quite frankly, like what's wrong is systemic, and I mean that's why like there's such an immense outcry right now, and for good reason. Like I don't
believe in protest.
No, protest I think is good. I probably would never protest, or I don't know if I would protest. I don't think it's necessarily the most efficient way to get things done.
Yeah, but like what is?
I don't know. That is more of a political science question that for me I have no way of answering to you.
The easiest way would be for people to treat each other with respect.
I mean,
from the get-go.
And it's terrible that has to be like something that...
Explain. That should be common sense.
I mean, what? Like what?
I don't know what to say. I mean, I always like you know me. I'd say I'm fairly... I don't know if sensitive is the word, but I really don't want to hurt anyone. Like, I always try to make things as convenient for people as possible.
It's true that.
And, you know, anytime, like, if I bump someone in the shoulder or I made a mistake, I, like, apologize profusely because I just feel so guilty. And yet you have these people, like sitting on necks, and I'm just like, dude... Was that really the best you could come up with? Like, have you no shame in, like, doing... Like, this is a human being, and you're treating them with such hostility, negativity, and for what reason, I cannot imagine.
Because he forged a check.
Well, I guess that's the crime of the century, isn't it?
It's embarrassing, man. I was thinking about it on the way here, like why
it had to happen.
No. I'm the systemic reasons and things that allowed for, I guess, this type of behavior to still exist. And I mean, of course, like, you know, American history and slavery and then civil rights in the 60s, and
right.
there's a lot of dark history.
I mean,
in the US.
Yeah, that's
when
true.
it comes to racism, and it sucks. It's just
true.
terrible.
I mean, it's not exclusive to America, I'd say, but...
No, definitely not.
I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Because this isn't the 60s anymore. We're in 2020 right now. It's 60 years later. This shouldn't... I mean, it's not as bad as it was, but, like, this is still unacceptable.
Yeah.
This shouldn't...
I mean, without a doubt, it's unacceptable.
This shouldn't happen. I mean, what is the actual crime... like, of forging a check? Like, how bad is that? Like, if you went to court, like, what sentence would you get? You wouldn't get for life.
Dude, no. I have no idea. I'm no law student.
You have these politicians stealing, like, gazillions of dollars, and this guy, like, forged a check for, like, lunch money, and it's like, oh, we gotta break his neck.
No. Well, it could have been for lunch money. He was at a supermarket. For all we know, it could have literally been for lunch money. Or just for lunch.
I mean, I didn't see the video. And from the sound of it,
it's awful.
It's awful. So I've already seen enough awful stuff on the internet. I don't need to see more.
the way I see it is this, like, and we don't have to talk about it any further because,
we
like,
can
quite
move
frankly,
on to the next topic.
yeah, quite frankly, it's like it's like a sore subject for a lot of people, including myself, because like I said,
but we shouldn't mention it, just
close
so,
friends.
you know.
Yeah, exactly. The reason that it still exists is partially systemic, of course.
What does that mean? It's in the system.
Yeah, yeah.
What system?
Just our social system.
Social. Okay.
Or maybe not even partial. It might just be, like I said, I was thinking about this on the way here.
It could just be one
the
evil
idea
individual.
of ignorance. Like, I watched this really interesting video about this man who was trying to write a book on the KKK, and he was black. I forget his name, but he interviews one of those members, yeah, and like talks about his whole experience interviewing them or interviewing him. And it's like I think like they had like an ice cooler with like some Pepsis and Cokes in it, and they like the ice shifted, you know, like when it melts and stuff. And for a second, like they had no idea the ice was shifting and stuff, and like it made a noise, right? And they both like were like, as soon as they heard it, they were both like feral cats. Like they looked at each other, like hair standing up on their necks and everything, like really on edge and stuff. And it was just a cooler. Like that's how tense it was in that room when he was interviewing them. And like he gave this lesson like at the end of the whole story, and I think it's like one of the best ways to describe everything that goes on. And it's ignorance. It is pure ignorance that allows this stuff to happen.
What did he learn from them?
Like,
why did they believe what they believe?
That part I don't remember. I mean, like for the most part, like what I think, I'm not gonna make any assumptions, but I'm like pretty sure that they think it's all in religious context.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean,
I'm
gonna be honest. I don't know if religious context offers that, but that's for the world to decide, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just ignorance. Like ignorance is the reason that this still exists, and it's because a lot of people are unwilling to learn and unwilling to be compassionate and unwilling to just see people as brothers and sisters instead of just them.
Yeah, I guess.
I hate that.
All it takes is one bad apple.
All it does take is one bad apple. You know, like like you said before, there are some people that will ruin it for a majority, and there are some people that will just tarnish stuff. But at the same time, you know, you have just
evil people in the world.
Evil people.
It's the correct word.
Do you think I guess we'll shift away from this, but like a good way to change it is do you think entropy exists in a social manner?
Entropy is chaos.
Yeah.
It's randomness.
Yeah, do you think chaos exists
100%.
Like that's such a poorly worded question. I'm saying like do you think that things will tend to chaos regardless of how much order we establish? Like if things are perfectly orderly and forever orderly, whatever, do you think that one slightest little thing could just change that into chaos forever?
All it takes is one. That's literally all it takes. World peace can never be truly achieved.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because all it would take, assuming everyone actually got along with everyone, all it would take to ruin that is one guy or girl saying, I don't like you or I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
And
that's damn true.
Because what will end up happening is something has to happen. Either A, all of society turns against that individual, in which case it ceases to be utopian because you're going against your own kind. B, there's a division. Some people actually agree with that. The person who went away from the utopia, some people might agree or be convinced by the outcasts to join them, thus creating a division, thus creating a separation between the two groups, thus creating, I don't know, countries.
Thus creating countries. So countries are basically just imperfections upon... Well, you see, actually, I'm like a very anti-nationalistic person.
I know, we had a talk about
Yeah,
this.
I don't like nationalism at all.
I think
it's very counterproductive to society.
I don't think so. I think counterproductive is not the correct word you're thinking of. I think it definitely has negatives if it's done in a very bad way. A lot of extremist groups and a lot of horrible things throughout history have been with patriotism and nationalism, like bolstering it. But at the same time, nationalism, I think, can lead to greatness within the country itself.
Right, but the idea of having teams, like, for instance, let's break down on a very, micro level now. My team, for instance, if we have subgroups within my team, how are we going to come together as a collective unit? We're never going to be like that because we're not a team anymore. We're just me and this other guy there, 2 guys there, 3 guys there. We're just small, individualized, little groups within the unit. And that's what I don't like. I feel like if we're humanity, we need to work as a team.
I get it.
Having several different teams, different nations in general, that whole idea to me just seems very it just seems like not the best way to go about things, especially if we're trying to further ourselves as a society.
Yeah. Let me retract my statement about nationalism because I think I've come up with a better answer. It's not it's not nationalism that I'm against. I think it's united. It's because I'm thinking of scientists, right?
Yeah.
There was a computer scientist I learned about in college that something about algorithms. It was in my algorithms class that one person discovered an algorithm in America and another person in either Hungary or Eastern Europe somewhere, maybe Russia, maybe Hungary, he discovered a similar algorithm. But these two did not know each other. They discovered the same thing at the same time, and it just this leads me to believe or what to think is imagine how much better things would be if all the scientists got together, they worked together. How much quicker, or how much more work and discovery can be done.
Exactly.
But in this situation, these scientists would have a goal in mind. You understand?
Yeah, and I think that's a big problem.
That's not the problem. That's the good thing. The bad thing is, what does the average person, what's their goal? You know what I'm saying? A scientist, their goal is, we want to discover something. An athlete, their goal, if you're a soccer player or a basketball player, their goal is, I want my team to be good. I want to win. So they're working together with all these people. What's the average person's goal? And that's where nationalism can supply that answer. It's do you love your country? It's if you do, you'll work hard and be better than all the other countries, supplying the whole country with a goal, which gets a lot of work done. But like you said, it's not really good as a whole because essentially you're creating inspiration by creating hostility towards everyone else. You're saying you see the Chinese, you see the Russians, you see the Soviets. It's we got to be better than them. Let's get our butts in gear.
Which is so ironic, man.
The irony is we're getting better because we hate everyone else, which in the long run will lead to social problems. I think that's fair to say.
I mean, it is quite literally it's literally tied to what we just talked about, and it's been tied to what was going on in the 80s, 70s, the Cold War.
Cold War is 60s to 80s.
And now we're going to have funny enough, speaking of goals for humanity, I was thinking yesterday we're going to have a new Cold War. I mean, I'm not talking about cuz I mean there's let's be real. There's a figurative Cold War between the US and China right now. But I'm thinking space race type between Blue Origin and SpaceX.
SpaceX is America, right?
Yeah.
What's Blue Origin?
Blue Origin is also in America. What?
Oh, then.
Oh, have you never heard of Blue Origin?
No.
Jeff Bezos, he has a
Jeff
space company.
Bezos.
Yeah, he has a space company as well, Blue Origin.
Yeah, but that's just Americans competing for space property.
I don't know exactly what Blue Origin's like philosophy and goals are. I think the whole idea is just to get people off the blue planet.
But it's blue. Everyone likes blue.
Yeah.
Where would they go? You can't go to Venus because it's like only greenhouse
Mars,
gases.
bro.
Mars is
Elon
Mars
wants
is
us to go to Mars, man.
Mars is red.
Yeah, red's a warm color.
There's no water there.
Oh wait.
I remember reading something like there's actually ice in Mars.
No, it's true.
Which means there's water in Mars.
Yeah.
It's probably not drinkable.
I wonder what kind of ice it is.
Iron in it. All the red.
What do you think? Wait, what is the stuff on Mars made of?
Iron.
Is it all iron?
It's not all iron, but it's definitely a lot of
the stuff on Mars. What is the dust on Mars made of? Essentially,
because it's red. It's oxidized iron. No.
I don't know.
I think it is.
I am no.
That's why it's red. It's the same
specialist.
reason our blood is red is because of the oxidized iron. So that's the same thing. Yeah. Without iron in our, I learned this from watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Without iron in your blood, it actually turns yellow.
What?
Yeah, a very disgusting, not pleasant yellow.
What?
Because iron retains the oxygen in your blood, so if you didn't have iron, you can't breathe, technically.
Whoa.
Or something along those lines.
My mind's imploding right now.
So, I believe that's why Mars is red, is because it's just it's basically like a form of rust. You know?
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
So it's iron.
I mean, it makes sense. Damn.
I think I'm gonna Google this right now just to make sure.
Wait,
I'm
so
not completely wrong.
You know what I'm curious about also is how long it's gonna take us to get there.
Doesn't it take like either?
I postulated that in 20 years we'll probably have a colony on Mars. I would love to think that we can probably have people on Mars in 20 years.
Yeah, but the colony.
Because Elon said he's trying to get people on the moon in 4 years.
To get to the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, is the moon closer to Mars?
He said 4 years would be He said 4+ years would be very like. What's the word? He said it's very unlikely that it'll take more than 4 years.
Unlikely that it'll take more than 4
Yes.
years. Okay, he's crazy.
Well,
but he might prove me wrong, so we'll see.
I mean, he's a great type of crazy. He's a Tony Stark type. I don't know. Actually, I don't like the comparisons with him and Tony Stark because Tony Stark is like a defense contract. He makes weapons.
He used to.
What do you mean he used to?
He became a billionaire through weapons.
Yeah.
But like
Elon doesn't make weapons.
Didn't you watch Iron Man?
Yeah, of course.
He kind of went as soon as he saw what his weapons were doing in the Middle East.
He just made a bigger weapon.
Yeah, but like he closed down the weapons manufacturing because he in favor of making a new super awesome Iron
even
Man
more
suit.
Weapon.
Well, it's a suit.
It's a weapon.
But
you're telling me if you weren't in that suit that you couldn't use it as a weapon? Because it is quite.
I can use a car as a weapon too.
Oh my god. Okay, I get it.
I would.
So do you use solar panels as weapons?
If
I guess anything can.
Yeah, I could lift it up and drop it on someone.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Literally, you could use a fluffy pillow. That fluffy pillow.
Yeah,
right
I could suffocate you with that. What
else?
Was I gonna say? If I did have a I could be like those space guys and just turn the rocket around and crash it into the launch site and just take everyone with me.
That's terrible.
Which brings us to our second social topic. We're not a social podcast, I swear.
We're actually not. I mean, we're just talking about stuff that is happening right now.
A lot happened in 2 or 3 days, so...
That's crazy. You know, actually, I wonder...
I hope less happens this week.
I hope not.
I hope less.
Well, I hope good things happen this week, rather.
I think that's better.
I mean, in the general fashion of 2020, not much good stuff has been happening. I mean, you had...
I heard of this new podcast called Stay Positive Podcast that just started. That's pretty cool.
It's fair. 2020 has been a Whew, a roller coaster ride.
I love how the memes every year it's like, oh, I survived 2016. 2017 will be better, and then the next year it's like, oh, I survived 2017. 2018 will be better,
my friend.
And it just keeps getting worse.
2020 has been something else, though. I don't think we've seen this much just tragedy in general.
And then 2021 starts.
Oh my god. You know, it's actually so interesting to think about.
Is World War III gonna start 2021?
Wait, oh my goodness. I remembered this thing because
there was a lot of memes this year that World War III was gonna start.
Yeah, actually, I remember that. Iran.
And that wow. All the gamers and all the weebs, and they'll need to join the army.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, remember rushing Area 51 also? Yeah. But that's a 2019 thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, but like no one did that because that was a meme. The guy who like created
it was a joke.
It was a joke, but everyone's like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna do it. And then like 5 people showed up.
People showed up?
Yeah, but like not like millions of people were like, yeah, we're gonna do it, but only like a handful showed up.
The Rock, I remember The Rock said he would show up also.
Like if celebrities are saying they're gonna show up, you have to know it's a joke.
Yeah, unfortunate. But anywho, back to what I was saying. I watched this video quite a long time ago about this this old lady. I forget her name as well, but apparently she predicts like these crazy events in human history. Like she predicted I don't remember. She predicted like some very, very big events. I think maybe 9/11, maybe like the killing of Osama. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was.
Do you know her name?
No, I don't. But anyways, one of the things she predicted was Trump is the last U.S. president.
When did she predict that though?
Before she passed away.
But like, did she predict it before Trump became elected?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Dude, it's freaky because she got other stuff right. Like all of her predictions were right.
When did she predict it? Like if she predicted it like in 2008, like then I'd be scared. But if she predicted it like the day before,
no, I'm such an Oompa Loompa. I think it's the recession she predicted, not 9/11. I confused those things totally.
Recession?
Yeah, I think she definitely predicted the recession.
I'm sure a lot of people predicted it.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people. I think a lot of people that had the ability to use financial model skills and understand that real estate. Like, were you able to predict 2008 or no?
I was in high school in 2008.
Do you know anyone personally that predicted it happening?
No.
So, yeah, so shut up.
Oh wait, what happened in 2008?
The recession.
No, I know that, but like what was I doing at the time?
Oh, you were like 10 years old.
I graduated high school in 2014, so 6 years. Yeah, I was in like middle school.
Definitely not 10 years old.
Yeah. If I graduated in 2014 in high school, then 6 years before that, I was in middle school. I had my own problems. Screw the recession.
Yeah, that's true, man. Hormones and teenagers and everything.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we're gonna see a very big paradigm shift within the next.
Did she actually predict that Trump is the last president?
Like she said it.
But like, is that what she said, or is that just you exaggerating what she said?
I don't know, but I'm gonna look up this YouTube video right now.
Okay, we'll put it in the comments, in the description.
Yes, we will. For people that are listening, like half an hour and wherever we're at right now.
Personally, I really hope Trump is not the last president of the United States.
Well, I say it's interesting because what if we just have a total revamping of our political system? Our government structure.
I would be scared.
Well,
I'd be very scared.
Why?
Well, what would the change be?
I don't know, but it would have to preserve society.
Any system that is an anarchy will preserve society, but
well, obviously a government that's paid for and paid by the.
America's still the greatest country in the world, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to come out of America.
I read a book.
A lot of bad stuff, obviously, but a lot of good stuff. I think it's the best place to have opportunity.
Opportunity, 100%. But I read this book, Democracy in America, by a French philosopher. No, what's the word for? Not bureaucrat, French aristocrat. Who came from France in the 1800s, and he came to America. And what was his name? It was Tocqueville, but what was his first name? I'm googling this, audience. Tocqueville. Alexis de Tocqueville. He wrote Democracy in America, and this was in the 1800s, mind you. This is nowhere near like our modern day society, but a lot of the things he like observed in America was really interesting and really like holds true, I'd say, nowadays, just as it did 200 years ago.
Really?
Like, one thing he said is that, like, community is really important in America. Yeah. Like, there is a federal government, there is an overall government, but when it comes to people, they don't really care much about the government. They care more about their community governments. They care about their community societies.
Yeah.
They come. Oh my God. They care about stuff in their like own bubble, their own area.
Yeah.
Then they don't really care. Like, they're aware of the government, they're aware of the president, they're aware of all that stuff, but it doesn't really it never really made a big impact in them. And how one thing that Americans valued versus like Europeans at the time was status, I'd say is the word, where if you're wealthy or considered like great, that's really important because the community will view you in a good light, and if you're not like that, people will look down at you. But there was also this sense of equality that anyone could achieve that. So even if there were rich people and poor people sitting in the same train or in the same carriage or in the same bar, but like you viewed them differently, but you also understood that both of them could achieve that status. And that's very similar, I'd say, to now, wouldn't you say? It's not a perfect one-to-one, but mind you, this is 200 years ago. And slavery and women's rights. Slavery was a thing, women's rights was not a thing. You know, the fact that he was saying a lot of this stuff in a time like that, and how a lot of it still is pretty, not identical, but still holds fairly true in certain regards, is interesting in my opinion.
Well, I can say for a fact that I don't want to say that equality of opportunity is all there.
No. He wrote specifically that like the way they treated the slaves was very hypocritical. The way they treated women was like he wasn't stupid. He wrote. It's like, by the way,
your society has
the Native Americans, the African slaves, the women. You know,
they're
not. He wasn't saying, oh, you're a perfect society, but he was fascinated because America was one of a kind at its time and still is one of a kind. Like, how many countries are like America?
Oh, man. I mean, right now, at the time we're speaking, not a single one.
But for better and worse.
For better and for worse, yes.
One of the reasons he gave that was the people who came to America, they didn't have the virtues that the Europeans did. Or rather, they had, like, different virtues. Like...
freedom and...
Not just that, but the sense of self. You know, in Europe... Like, for example, if you were French or Italian and you did something great, this proves that the French or the Italians are great. Whereas if an American did something great, it's, I am great. Which is different. And in my opinion, it still holds kind of true. Like, if a German does something good, it's like, oh, well, he's German, so Germany is obviously really good. An American does something great, you're not really thinking, America is great. You're thinking, oh, Michael Phelps, oh, he's pretty good at swimming. You're not thinking, oh, Americans are great at swimming.
Yeah, that's true. True that. I wonder if that's a sign of times. Like, is that a sign of advancement, or is that a sign of...
I think it's just our culture from a historical standpoint.
So it's a cultural thing.
Yeah. Because, like, America didn't have a culture up until 200 years ago, which is a luxury that literally no other country in the world had. Except maybe the South Americans, like the South American countries. But I think there's a lot of corruption down there.
Yeah,
so
there's a bit of that over there.
I don't know. I can't say for certain.
I think the one thing that I've, like, learned... I haven't learned the hard way, thank goodness, but I've definitely learned as I've studied society, I don't study people. I think I know people pretty well, and I like talking to people and everything and learning their viewpoints, but man, oh man, like, you can see that ignorance is definitely not something that you want to be a part of yourself.
I think we're all ignorant to a certain point.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, ignorance in a bad way.
No. Here's the thing, right? No one knows everything. I don't know everything.
Yeah, and it's very important that everybody listening and that you yourself can...
You admit that,
yes,
though. No,
exactly.
Socrates was pretty smart. You know,
Socrates,
the Greek philosopher, because his biggest philosophy, like, everyone was always telling him, most famously, everyone was like, "You're really wise, you're really smart," and he said, "I'm not wise, I'm not smart." It's like, what do you mean? You're saying all these great things. It's like, I don't know anything. I'm just questioning everything. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
The difference between me and all the other philosophers is that I actually say I don't know anything. That guy over there, he's saying, "Oh, I can explain this. I can explain that." Socrates is just like, "I don't know what this is. I have some thoughts, but, like, I don't know if I'm right."
How can you prove it?
You can't. It's just, it's my opinion. You can take it or leave it, but, like, I don't know. And no one knows. No one knows everything.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing is, I don't remember if I said this in the last podcast. It's like, I have several definitions of stupidity. And one of them is, a person who's stupid is not someone who doesn't know anything. A person who is stupid is someone who thinks they know everything. And I think
stupid is a harsh word.
No, stupid is the exact word I want to use there. Because think about it. If you don't know anything, but you are at least self-aware that you don't know, that is some form of wisdom, As silly as it may sound, like, you are consciously aware of, like, where you stand. Whereas if someone who assumes they know everything, they're just gonna preach to you and, like, tell you how to live your life. They're gonna tell you right from wrong. They're basically going to say what is and what isn't. And who are they to say that? They're nobody. But they don't think that. They think they're somebody whose voice and opinions matter.
Yeah. I forget how the quote goes, but is it those who think they're the smartest are actually not?
I never heard that quote.
I
remember Morgan Freeman's quote or something. It's like, to have an argument with a smart person or an intellectual is very hard. To have an argument with a stupid person... Oh, no. To win an argument with a smart person is really difficult. To win an argument against a stupid person is impossible.
Yes.
And it's true.
Yeah. Funny enough, actually, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I adore, this guy is, like, one of the most bright human beings to ever grace this planet. Like, he needs to keep doing what he's doing. Shout out to you, Neil. But Dr. Tyson, rather. But he said that he doesn't like arguing, or he doesn't like debating people in general, because when you're debating something, you're essentially debating a fact. No. You're trying to debate, like, an objective fact most of the time. And the way he defines objective truth and objective facts is they are always true under certain conditions, right? So there is no reason to debate them because they will always be true. Like, this couch is red, or mahogany. I don't know. You get the point.
Yeah.
If we're talking for more than 2 minutes about why you think this couch is blue, then we're both wrong. Or at least what if there is no distinct way to prove one person is wrong, then why are we even debating?
Yeah.
And that's why I find presidential debates so interesting, because it goes to show how imperfect the two, like, the system is, exactly, because there's always like, oh, but what if this, or the other side says, oh, but actually this, and then one side gets more aggressive, and they're like, oh no, but this is true, and then the other side gets more aggressive and says, but you're treating humans poorly, and then we proceed with all the other social issues that arise from all of that stuff.
I hate presidential debates. Because it's literally just mudslinging and people saying, I'm right, you're wrong.
Basically.
Even when, like, both sides can have legitimate points, it's like, nope, one of you has to be objectively the correct one. Which is just not really feasible.
That makes just about as much sense as 1 + 1 = 3.
And one of them is arguing about that.
Yeah.
If a Republican said 1 + 1 is 2, the Democrat has to say 1 + 1 is 3. They can't agree. They can't say the same thing. Because if they did, then why would they debate anymore?
It's totally against policy. If you're on the other side, there's no way
to agree.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Counterproductive to society. That's what I'm telling you, man. Have you ever seen this joke that talks about like this whole dialogue where a guy calls Bill Gates, says, hey, he calls 3 different people. He says, hey, my son is married to this person, have him as your CEO of Microsoft. And he's like, okay. And then he calls the next person, he says, my son is the son-in-law of this person, have him as your chairman, whatever. He goes like along this whole like list, like 2 or 3 people, like very high profile, like organizations, like world changing things, and none of them were true until he called each person and like verified it for sure. Like he just went kind of behind each person's back and was like, yeah, I'll call this person, tell him, and make a deal and cut a deal and whatever. And it was like, in the end, it said, this is how politics works.
Were you just calling people?
He was like calling people up saying like, my son is the CEO of Microsoft, my son is the chairman of World Health Organization, something like that.
Let's make a deal.
Like something like that, yeah, and like puts his son in, whatever. It's just a joke. The point is like, this is how politics work.
But it is, which sucks.
A lot of backward stuff happens, man.
I don't know, because the thing is, politicians, not all of them are poor per se, but a lot of them, and none of them are poor or uneducated per se, but a lot of them seem to want money.
Yeah.
And power.
Money and power. Power and money. Those are the two key...
That's why I think a lot of politicians hate Trump, is because when he's a billionaire, he doesn't need your money. You know?
Yeah, that's true. He's already got a lot of it from selling or building big buildings.
And
but
golf courses.
Yeah. But
didn't Trump want to make an airplane in space?
I don't know if that, I can't verify if that's true, but that's also probably one of the most outlandish things I've ever heard.
Oh, like a space tour.
How? We're not even gonna go into this.
Maybe I'm wrong.
This is just incredible.
Which brings us to our second topic.
You said the exact same words
maybe
a half hour ago.
I know, but like we didn't actually talk about it. So this was last Saturday, 2 guys went into space.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm joking.
That's our topic.
I'm joking. We witnessed quite the thing. Kind of backstepping a little bit. But we did witness quite the thing happen.
Historical event.
This was yesterday, yeah. This is the first time since
a long time ago.
I mean, when was the last time people flew out of U.S. soil into space?
U.S.
Because that's why it's so.
Yeah.
That's why it's so notable.
I don't remember.
Like the first U.S.
Where do they
space capsule
do it in Kazakhstan?
in a very long time.
Where do they usually?
Yeah, because the Soyuz spacecraft is
still in use.
Is a Russian? Is it Russian or is it? No, I'm pretty sure it's Russian.
Okay.
and they have their launch site is in Kazakhstan. Yeah.
But like Kazakhstan is a landlocked nation.
A what?
It's landlocked. There's no water anywhere.
Okay.
If the rocket crashes, what happens?
I suppose
That's the point. When America made their version of it, when NASA created their location in Cape Canaveral.
Did you?
That's what.
I love your pronunciation to some of these things.
What's the pronunciation?
Cape Canaveral.
Oh, Canaveral. What did I say? Canaveral.
Yeah, whatever.
What's wrong with that?
Cannabinol.
Caribbean, whatever.
All right, keep going. You say tomato, I say potato.
It's true. They built it next to the water because, if it crashes, you have some soft water to land in.
Soft water?
It's pretty soft.
You've hit water, right?
Yes, I know. It's a joke.
Water is quite soft.
It's basically like concrete.
No, it's actually softer.
A little bit. Not when you're falling at terminal velocity.
Whew. That would be a little painful.
Have
you ever belly flopped straight onto water?
Yeah, it doesn't feel too good.
Ugh.
Is it true that I asked my friend if I'm sure there was some context to why I asked this, but I asked my friend if I drove my car off a bridge into water, could you survive? And he said the way you survive is you have to land the car has to hit the water first, and then you have to fall underneath, right where it splashes. Because essentially when the car lands, the surface tension of the water goes, I don't know, to zero or something. Huh. The surface tension basically gets broken, thus you're not landing on concrete anymore, you're landing into water.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know how true that is. I didn't drive my car off.
Test it off. Test it out, I mean. I don't think he'll do that anytime soon. But anyways.
But if it happens, I'll make sure to jump out of the car and brace myself.
Brace for impact?
I mean, what would you do if you're in a car and you're off the bridge and you have 15 seconds left?
So what 15 seconds is quite a time.
It's enough time.
Take wow. 15 seconds? Let's see. You see, things are harder in free fall.
Why is it harder?
Well,
my seatbelt's on.
Just look at astronauts. They're in free fall, essentially.
My seatbelt's on.
Alex, look at astronauts. How easy would it be for them to get out of the space station in 15 seconds, for instance?
Well,
let's not think about the vacuum of space and how they would implode because of the pressure change. Let's just how hard would it be for them to get out of the space station, the ISS?
It's pretty big.
If the door was 2 feet away.
Well, do they have anything to jump off of? I have my...
Yeah, so the point is you need to push off something when you're in free fall.
Yeah, but I have my armrest. I can push off that.
It's hard.
It's okay, I see your point. I'll sign up for some skydiving lessons. There, all right.
Yeah.
I'll be ready for it. Don't worry.
Be ready. So then after you take those skydiving lessons,
I'll practice the specific act of getting out of the car
in free fall.
In free fall and bracing for impact.
But yeah, so what I wonder is, oh man, there's so much to think about when you're in space, man. I remember, what is his name? Chris Hadfield, the Canadian astronaut, that he was he would always do these YouTube videos of him up in space where he would...
What do they do in space?
Perform experiments, mostly.
So they're scientists mainly up there?
No, dude, they're freaking rock stars.
No, yeah, I know they're
music producers.
Really?
Construction workers.
You probably sell a lot of music. Not even kidding. If you were up there making music, you'd probably be pretty famous.
Oh my gosh.
Am I wrong?
No.
That's the saddest part.
No.
I'm 100%
You're
right.
blatantly wrong.
No. If someone was...
Why would they pay to send a musician up into space?
Well, he paid them to send him up there, or her.
You know how expensive it is to send something up to space, man? It's like $10,000 per pound or something like that.
He paid for the rocket. He sponsored the project.
Okay, so this guy had like 800 million just chilling in his back pocket, right?
Donald Trump signed him a check.
A small loan of 1 million.
1 billion.
Make sure you put the finger up or make the little OK sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder when they're gonna go to the moon.
Where is the space station relative to the moon? Is it like halfway?
Oh no.
How far is
like,
the space
okay,
station from
so
Earth?
Let's say this table that the mic is connected to is like 1 foot away from me. Then that's like me. This is the space station, the ISS. The moon would be like your neighbor's house, maybe 150 feet in that direction.
So like probably 100.
It's quite far
500
away.
times away from.
I don't know exactly. It's quite far away.
How long does it take? How long did it take us to get to the moon originally, the first time?
Well, 1969. That was Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong.
Primitive technology.
Dude, it's so crazy to me
that they got it on the first try.
You could literally use an iPhone, the processing power in an iPhone, to get yourself to the moon.
Was more than what they had.
It's just about the same. That's insane.
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
In our hands.
Dude, it's literally in your back pocket. You take advantage of it all the time.
Yeah, taking selfies, Snapchat.
It's so taken for
all
granted
of that
right now.
all of that processing power being used for
beautification instead of sending people to space.
Yeah. So everyone holding an iPhone right now, go send someone to space. You have the power.
You basically do. I mean, if they were able to send 4 people? 3 people?
2. I know those 2.
I think there were 4 people in that capsule. Or I might be totally wrong.
Why are those
it might
2
be
the
3.
famous ones then?
Well, all of them were famous.
But I don't remember those other 2.
Yeah, that's true. Neil Armstrong is famous because he was the first person to step.
Was he the one that said the phrase, "One small step for man, one large step for mankind"?
I believe so.
It's iconic.
And I mean, who can forget a name like Buzz Aldrin?
I mean, Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, exactly. Don't you? Isn't that where Buzz Lightyear came from?
99% sure. There's no way they came up with Buzz.
Dude, let's literally think about it. To infinity and beyond. This guy's literally an action figure.
Based on Buzz Aldrin. Might as well.
Like, he's an astronaut action figure.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Buzz Aldrin.
I'd hope so.
Oh,
you think he gets any royalty checks? Probably not.
Dude, what if that's actually true?
It's unfortunate. It is true.
Did we just uncover a conspiracy?
It's not a conspiracy.
No, it's not.
Why would they call him Buzz, of all things, and make him a spaceman, and not name, and that just be... You really expect me to believe that's just a pure coincidence that one of the first 4 guys to land on the moon, and the spaceman wasn't named after one of them?
I might just come off as, like, totally having lived under a rock.
I mean, I assume. I don't...
You assume?
I mean, I didn't... It's not like I heard Disney confirm it, or Pixar. I don't remember any interviews, but...
Isn't Walt Disney, like, cryogenically frozen right now?
That's a myth, I think.
Is it?
I don't know.
I mean, you could just thaw him out and ask him yourself.
I mean, I don't think that's how it works.
Why not? Didn't they do that to Darth Vader in Star Wars?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But
that was in a planet far, far away.
Galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, but it was on a planet far, far away too.
All right, man.
I'm not wrong.
Why are you booing me? I'm not wrong.
Eric Andre.
That's classic. Wait, so yeah, ironically enough, we're very impromptu show here, but we came in with the 3 major topics we wanted to talk about.
No, we didn't. We had 2.
We had a third.
My topic?
Yeah, your thing.
I mean,
which I found it quite interesting.
I mean, I wanted to start with that topic because I think that was a more upbeat topic, whereas the topic we decided to start with.
Here's the bottom. Okay, I'm sorry. I was driving this conversation like a car off the bridge.
which we know how to
definitely
how
not
to handle right now.
No, you definitely don't know how to handle it as a result of us. But
let's get my parachute and jetpack.
Yeah, totally. In 15 seconds, yeah, makes
Dude,
sense.
I want to be the first guy to invent an actual hoverboard. Because I have a science fiction theory on how to do it.
Oh my god, man! All right, wait, hit me with it. I want to hear this.
It's basically magnets.
Well, that's not science fiction. That already exists.
No, but like the current one, there's a theme park, not a theme park. There's a skate park in Spain where they like customize the ground with magnets, so the hoverboard would hover.
Okay.
My idea is to like basically create a board with magnets like on the board as well as magnets tied underneath the board. So you have 2 layers of magnets, and I don't know the science. That's why I said science fiction, because I didn't study magnetism. Fair. But the idea is essentially the magnets underneath are able to repel the board up.
What do you mean the magnets? Where are these counteracting magnets you so speak of?
You have the board, which has a magnet plate in it, let's say, and then underneath it you have repelling magnets. Like basically, imagine like wheels, but instead of wheels, they're magnets underneath it, and those magnets will repel it up.
Okay, but how are those wheels moving in relation to your board?
No, you still have to like kick the ground to like move, but the board is hovering because the magnets are repelling.
But then no, that's not the point of a hoverboard though. You don't want to have anything touching the ground.
Yeah, but they're so light and you can still hover over the water.
Okay, so are you just basically talking about magnetic wheels right now?
Is that a thing? Do those exist?
No. Well, I don't think they exist, but regardless, it would defeat
hovering cars.
It's not a hoverboard. I think the better solution, but it would cost quite the change in infrastructure, would be to basically outfit like the roads and stuff, like everything, with magnets underneath.
Why?
Well, for that purpose.
Oh.
You need to create a magnetic field essentially to have. If you want to use magnetism to hover, then that's the only way that you can make it.
Can you create a vacuum?
That'd be horribly inefficient.
Does vacuum mean 0 gravity, or just vacuum means nothingness, like emptiness?
0 gravity. Nothing can propagate through vacuum, essentially. So no sound, no waves. So light can't propagate through it either.
Light does. We see the sun.
Wait, light as a wave cannot propagate through. Oh wait, what am I saying?
I can see the sun. I can go outside right now.
I'm spitting lies to you people. I'm so sorry.
That's science fiction right there.
That is science fiction. I studied this, so I should be better.
I don't think you studied space.
I've taken a few physics classes.
Yeah, but not space, astrophysics.
No, we have to know some of this stuff. Anyways, before everyone discredits me, I'm wrong. I admit it. I'm sorry for spitting lies.
Can you create like a fake 0 gravity field? Like
fake 0 gravity field?
Like, can you mirror 0 gravity on Earth?
Yeah. It's free fall.
Can you do that on the highway? Like make a highway that's in 0 gravity to have hover cars?
Well, yeah, it's exactly what I just explained to you.
No, you explained having the roads with magnets so that the cars would hover.
Yes.
My idea is to have 0 gravity so that the cars already are floating and you just propel them forward or backwards.
Well, the first thing to handle is getting these cars in the air.
That's what 0 gravity is for.
Yeah, well, the problem with 0 gravity is you can't really... You need to have a counteracting force.
What does that mean?
So you know how the force of gravity is a force acting on your body? And the only thing holding you up right now is the normal force of this floor pushing you at the same exact but opposite force of gravity.
Yeah, the third law of physics.
Yeah, exactly. So it'd be hard because there's no normal force to hold you up in the air. That's why gravity is like...
So then how do you fake 0 gravity then?
I mean...
In those special...
The way that Einstein explained gravity was, instead of thinking of gravity as like... You know how the Earth is just a big ball?
Yeah.
Well, it's not really a ball, but for this purpose, it's a ball. Everything
has a gravitational force.
Yes, it's a force. But in reality, that's not that's not true, and we know that's true. We know that that is not true indeed.
Why?
Instead, you ever heard of LIGO?
No.
Laser interferometer gravitational. All right, whatever. They had some discoveries a few years back. It proved Einstein was right. Black holes exist. We saw the picture about a year ago, or I don't know. Basically, like, if I were to have like I don't know, let's say I had a hula hoop propped up.
Yeah.
Just in general, and then I put like a mesh, like dry fit fabric on it, so that it's basically like only the hula hoop frame and the fabric on top. Now, let's say I drop like a metal ball onto the fabric. Which way is it gonna go?
Down.
Yeah, it's gonna go down, but it's gonna warp that fabric, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's exactly how gravity works. It is not the fact that the planet is pulling everything into it, but it is the fabric around that is dragging everything down towards the planet. And that's how gravity works.
Okay.
So, what you can learn from that is that it's a lot more complicated to mess around with.
So what I'm hearing
that
you say
stuff.
is we need some fabric softener for the highways to make sure the fabric is nice for the zero gravity highway, right? I'm right.
I don't know if fabric softener will do the trick. Maybe bleach.
No,
That was a totally terrible joke.
it was pretty okay, I think.
That was pretty awful.
What if I was dead serious?
But anyways, so what? I don't know. I really think that the next big technological innovations will come through manipulating electromagnetic fields. I mean, we've already made use of it with electric cars, with solar power. I mean, I also just really love Elon. Like, I really admire his work, so that's to be fair.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's okay. He just got 2 people on the ISS for the first time from U.S. soil in like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not the first one.
20 plus years.
Yeah, but he's not the first.
No, of course not.
Maybe the second. No one cares about second place, Pete.
Yeah, winners write history, guys. Don't ever forget that one.
Yeah, we'll forget Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's forgettable, man. He's a conglomerate. He's a conglomerate CEO of like huge companies. You know, he has 4 companies in total.
PayPal.
Oh well, he's not part of that company. So I guess 5 if you want to consider.
He doesn't make money off that anymore?
No, because he exited.
Okay, so not PayPal. Elon Musk, he owns
He made
Tesla.
like 130 mil from PayPal on his exit, and used all of that money to fund Tesla and SpaceX.
SpaceX is not relatively recent. He's been doing this for the last 10 years.
Dude, SpaceX was founded in like 2003, I think.
So 17 years he's been trying to get to space. Took him too long.
How about you try to build a space company and get people into space, buddy?
I mean, people did it in the 60s. What took him so long?
NASA existed for quite a while before
Isn't
they
NASA
got people.
still like real?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But you see, the crazy part is that they're all federal funded, or I'm pretty sure NASA.
the government.
NASA's federally funded, yeah.
Elon
Musk
is a private
company, yeah.
SpaceX. What's the name?
AirX.
I don't know. Was it SpaceX?
SpaceX, yes.
SpaceX.
Space
is
exploration.
A private owned space.
It's a privately owned spaceship.
No, privately owned space company.
Yeah.
And NASA is a government owned space company.
I'm pretty sure.
Did the Russians?
Don't quote me on that.
Did the Russians ever go to the moon?
Dude, they're. Oh, actually, I don't know. I mean,
we've been to the moon. Have they ever been to the moon?
Wow, that's a
they've been to space. I know because
I don't know for sure.
They used to call themselves cosmonauts.
They still are cosmonauts.
Oh, yeah. That's just how the Russians.
There are 2 Russian cosmonauts right now on the ISS with an American astronaut. I don't know why.
No, in the space station, there's been many different ethnicities that have been in space, but how many people have been to the moon? Other than us, because we're the coolest. We're pretty cool.
I don't know how many people, man.
Better question: has anyone been there since the first Like, we brought them to the first time. Did anyone ever go a second time? Has there only been, like, that one shuttle that's been man-piloted to the moon and back? Have there been others? Or no, yeah, I remember hearing that 8 people have been to the moon. So those first 4 were only half of them. So there were more, but I don't think they were Russians, or I think they were all Americans. So, yeah.
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Why are we talking about Mars if we can't even get people on the moon?
Well, we can get people on the moon. We've already done it.
Why? Yeah, but why are we colonizing Mars instead of the moon? Isn't the moon closer to Mars?
Well, the overarching goal is Mars.
Yeah, but that's like a gazillion years from now.
No, I'm telling you, 20 years. What I was going to say earlier was that despite all the stuff that's going on right now, like, here are the things you can do to, quite frankly, stay positive, and that is try not to be ignorant. I mean, or not even try.
Can you be more specific? What ignorance are you trying to clarify, or
I'm speaking like broad, because it applies to the first thing we talked about. Can apply to space as well, and it applies to everything. Like,
but no one needs to know everything. I think
no, nobody needs to. But in order to be a functioning member of society, in order to benefit people other than yourself, which obviously no one's going to want to benefit others all the time, because quite frankly it's not human. Human beings are selfish.
Yes, by nature. All right, here
just, like, sorry, before you go on, I'm just thinking, you want to do stuff that's going to give you a better light for compassion and understanding of others. You know? Just put yourself in a position that you can understand what everyone else is going through.
Right.
And that's it. That's all it takes. Because then you'll understand, like, wow, this person is being treated poorly. Or, oh, that person's a genius. They're on the moon in 2 years. That's all it takes.
Can I talk
now? Go for it.
So basically, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the first thing you should sober up from and sober your ignorance of is essentially to just come to understand other people. Like, other people won't... Everyone has their own life story. Everyone has been in their own environment. No one's life has ever been 100% perfect. You know?
Oh, that'd be a fallacy. People that have perfect lives. No one has a perfect life.
No one has a perfect life. Yeah. Even the best people don't have perfect lives. But here's the thing. It's like, no one wants to be treated poorly. No one wants people to look down upon you. No one wants you to feel bad. No, you don't want yourself to feel bad. You don't want others to look down upon you or make you feel sad. You don't want to be judged. You don't want to be treated poorly. And you don't want to be put in situations of needless violence and hostility, because nothing is gained from any of that. So the first thing everyone should learn to do is just come to understand everyone else. You don't need to agree with everyone. You don't need to, like, know everyone's life story, but you need to appreciate the fact that, like, no one is perfect. And if you treat someone kindly, like a decent human being, there's a good chance, not 100%, but there is a good chance that they would treat you the same back. There's no reason for anyone to be needlessly hostile. At least none that I can think of. Unless someone like murdered your family, there's
That's terrible.
Then okay, you can hate that guy or girl, but like, unless you're like Bruce Wayne from Batman, there's no need to get angry at people. At least not right away, unless you need a genuinely good reason. Like, this person has to be undeniably evil, but which most people are not. So I'd say, just try your best to behave as kind and polite as possible. Some people might not care. Some people will overlook it, take it for granted. But at the end of the day, overall, I'd like to believe that the world will be better off if everyone could just adopt this kind of mentality.
That's true. I mean, I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say, oh no, that was well said, for sure. I mean, it's just, it's just a shame to see people not being treated the way they should be. I mean, that's just, and it's a shame to think about where society could be if we weren't
get over ourselves.
I just like to think about how much farther along we could be if we didn't have such blatant problems. Like blatantly awful problems with our society. Because like, dude, if we've got this stuff going on in society right now and we're able to get ourselves back in a moon a moonwalking phase of technological advancement. Could you imagine if we were living in a utopian society, where we'd be right now? I mean, utopian societies we know that's not possible.
It's fantasy.
But if we were 99% of that, could you imagine? We would probably already have civilization outside of this galaxy.
Maybe.
And at the same note, we're also quite a young race.
That's true.
We're a very young species, you could say. Dinosaurs were here for millions of years, and we haven't even been here for over 200,000 years as a species of animal.
More. I think we've been a little more productive than them.
Yeah, we really have. They kind of just went around, stomped their feet,
skulls.
fighting and eating each other.
They couldn't even dodge a rock.
We are building spaceships while fighting and eating each other.
It's true. It's true. So yeah. Basically, if we were perfect society, we would be living in a galaxy far, far away. We'd be living in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Anyways.
So, but the first step towards getting there is, as always, to stay positive.
Yes, sir.